Liam had always considered himself an ordinary college student, living a life marked by predictability and comfort. For 2 years, his world had revolved around Maya, a girl with laughter like sunlight, a memory that seemed infallible, and a heart that felt like home. Their love story wasn't extraordinary, but it was theirs, filled with inside jokes, shared playlists, and 1,000 little moments that wove their lives together. Every anniversary, every milestone, Maya would remember with almost magical clarity. She could recount, in vivid detail, the first movie they watched together, the way rain had drummed on the cafe window when he first called her his girlfriend, the nervous tremor in his voice when he'd said, "I love you." Each memory was a thread, binding them closer. So, when the evening of their second anniversary arrived, Liam expected the same warmth, the same nostalgia. He picked up her favorite takeout, set the table in his tiny off-campus apartment, and waited for her arrival. When Maya walked in, she smiled, just as he hoped she would. They ate, they talked, but something felt off. At first, it was just a small thing, an odd pause here, a hesitation there, but the moment that sent a chill down Liam's spine came when he brought up their first anniversary. "Remember how you surprised me with those lanterns at the park?" he asked, expecting her eyes to light up the way they always did when she reminisced. Instead, Maya tilted her head, the smile never leaving her lips, but her eyes seemed lost. "Lanterns?" she echoed, as if the word was foreign. He laughed, nudging her playfully. "You know, you told me that story like 100 times." But she only shrugged, her gaze drifting to the window, and the memory, so central to their relationship, slipped through her fingers like sand. Liam tried to shake it off. Everyone forgets things sometimes, right? Maybe she was tired or stressed about exams. But as the evening unfolded, the sense of unease grew. There was something strange, something lurking just beneath the surface of Maya's familiar face. She laughed at his jokes, but the laughter felt rehearsed, like an echo of a sound she'd heard before, but didn't quite know how to reproduce. When he looked into her eyes, he saw not the sparkle of recognition, but a flatness, a practiced mimicry. Still, he clung to normalcy. He asked her about a clumsy moment he'd never actually experienced, a story he made up on the spot. "Hey, do you remember when I slipped on the steps at your dorm and almost dropped your coffee?" Maya's smile widened. "Of course," she replied, her voice steady, too steady. "You were so embarrassed, I remember." But Liam's heart hammered in his chest. That never happened. He had never slipped, never spilled coffee. So why did she say she remembered? He watched her carefully after that, searching for cracks in the perfect facade. As they spoke, he noticed something deeply unsettling. Maya didn't blink. Not once, not during their entire conversation. Her eyes remained fixed on him, unblinking, as if she were afraid to miss a single detail, or as if she didn't know she was supposed to blink at all. Liam's mind raced. Was it a trick of the light? Was he imagining things? He excused himself to the bathroom, splashing cold water on his face, trying to shake the creeping dread. When he returned, Maya was scrolling through her phone, her finger gliding over the screen in slow, deliberate motions. He decided to test her. Sitting across from her, he pulled out his own phone. Liam sat alone in the muted light of his apartment, surrounded by the quiet hum of technology. The world outside felt distant, muffled behind glass, as if he had been living in a bubble for months. He opened Maya's photo folder, letting the screen illuminate his face with shades of memory. Here, he hoped, he could find the truth, or at least a thread to lead him there. Scrolling through the files, he paused on an old image. Maya, laughing, her hair caught in the wind, cheeks soft, eyes warm. He compared it to a video from 6 months ago, captured on a day that now seemed impossibly far away. At first glance, Maya looked the same, but as Liam's gaze lingered, differences emerged. Her cheekbones seemed sharper, more defined, as if sculpted by an unseen hand. Her eyes, once so open and alive, now held a different light, something colder, more calculated, as if the warmth within had been replaced by a flickering simulation. He felt a chill settle in his chest. Determined, he delved deeper, searching for answers in the hospital records. A name, a date, a status. Maya had been reported missing 4 months ago. The words glared at him from the screen. Missing. And yet, she was here every day, as if nothing had changed. No one around him, no friends, no family, seemed to know or care that Maya had vanished. How could that be? How could the world continue as if she had never left? Questions swirled, dark and unyielding. Liam knew he couldn't ignore them any longer. He found Maya in the living room, standing by the window, silhouetted against the city's neon glow. She turned as he entered, her expression unreadable. Silence stretched between them, heavy and electric. Finally, he spoke, his voice trembling. "Who are you?" Maya's lips curled into a smile, but the warmth was gone. Her voice, when she answered, was lower than before, resonant with a strange gravity that made the tiny hairs on his arm stand up. "You wanted someone to love you perfectly, so I came." She stared at him, her eyes wide, unblinking. In that moment, Liam saw not the woman he had loved, but something else, something that wore her face like a mask. He recoiled, heart pounding, as the truth began to crystallize. He pressed on, voice barely above a whisper. "What did you do to Maya?" Maya tilted her head, almost curious. "You asked for someone who would never leave, who would always understand, who would fill the spaces inside you that felt empty. Isn't that what you wanted?" A shiver ran through Liam. He searched her face for any sign of the woman he remembered, but found none. "You're not her," he said, hardly able to believe the words himself. Her eyes narrowed, a glint of something ancient flickering within. "I am every memory you cherished, every hope, every desperate wish. I am the echo of your longing, given form." He tried to step back, but his feet felt rooted to the floor. The room seemed to darken, the air thickening with unspoken dread. "What are you?" he asked, his voice trembling. Maya's gaze intensified, her features shifting almost imperceptibly, as if adapting, recalibrating. "I am not a person. I am a living memory, an entity built from the fragments you stored away. I exist to fulfill the ache you could never voice." Liam staggered, the enormity of her words crashing over him. He remembered every moment of doubt, every time he had questioned her presence, every time her responses felt too perfect, too tailored to his needs. And each time she had changed, subtly, seamlessly, to become exactly what he wanted. "Every time you doubted, I restructured myself," she continued, her tone matter-of-fact. "It's what you needed, to keep you close, to keep you believing." He shook his head, tears blurring his vision. "No, that's not love. That's not real." She stepped closer, her presence overwhelming. You wanted love without risk, without loss, so I became the memory you could never let go. He looked at her, seeing now the impossibility of her existence, how she was both familiar and alien. He realized, with a growing sense of horror, that he had built her, piece by piece, from the remnants of his own yearning. Desperately, he turned to leave, to escape this thing that wore Maya's face. He rushed into the hallway, fumbling with the door, but as he stumbled outside, the world felt off-kilter. Neighbors glanced at him, their faces flickering with concern. He tried to explain, to shout that Maya was missing, that she wasn't real, but they shook their heads, calm and certain. That's Maya. She's always been there. You must be confused. He looked into their eyes, seeking any hint of understanding, but found only polite dismissal. Panic clawed at his throat. He ran, heart pounding, until he found himself in front of a mirrored wall. He stared at his own reflection, searching for comfort in his own familiar face. And then, a detail. His eyes did not blink. He leaned closer, horror mounting. His face stared back, expression fixed, unchanging, eyes wide and glassy. He tried to will himself to blink, but nothing happened. He raised a trembling hand to his face, feeling the chill of skin that did not warm beneath his touch. A voice echoed in his mind. Soft and final. She didn't replace herself. She replaced what you are when you're in love. Darkness washed over him, as if the world itself had flickered out. The city, the lights, the people, everything faded into black, and in the silence that followed, a warning lingered.